Good evening. I would like to call to order the Board of Library Trustees for this Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Brown? Here. Trustee Bella? Here. Trustee Kennedy?
Here.
Trustee McLean?
Here.
Trustee Meadow?
Here.
Trustee Watts? Here. President Samar?
Here. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment? No. All right, how about liaison reports?
Yes, I have reports from both the Friends and the Foundation. First of all, the Friends, they are on break, but they are adding extra fundraising efforts in support of the new bookmobile at the August sale. They plan to ask people to buy extra items, round up the purchase, and purchase gift memberships. That's what I hope for the Friends.
Nice.
The Foundation is also on summer break, but they are at the farmers market all summer with the bookmobile. Their awareness of the foundation, alerting guests stopping by as to the need to raise funds for a new bookmobile, and taking orders for the bookmobile ornament. They also have an ornament on display along with a QR code for ordering at the information desk at the library. Thus far, they've raised $106,600 toward the goal of $150,000 in support of assisting to purchase a new bookmobile. Their development team is working on developing a raffle for the One Book, One Village Gala, as well as planning being underway for the International Women's Day event next March. They're growing their board with a new co-chair in marketing with a focus on social media and co-chairs for technology. And Lori says, as always, please contact her if you have any questions about it.
Yeah, I noticed that they made a request at the village board meeting to host a raffle.
Right.
At the One Book, One Village night, which is really smart because, that's so well attended and it feels like they're in every different part of the community. So that's great. They're reaching so many people. All right, moving on to approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting from June 17th, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Okay, so the motion was made by trustee Gallup and it was seconded by trustee Watts. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, reviewing the financial report ending June 30th.
Okay. For June, real estate tax revenue totaled $69,949.89. It was recently reported that the second installment property tax bills for Cook County will be delayed a month or longer due to processing delays related to the implementation of a new billing system. Tax bills that are normally sent out at the end of June will be delayed until at least the end of July and due no sooner than September 1st. So FYI, as we get through the rest of the year, that money will be coming in later than normal. The library did not receive any personal property replacement taxes this month. The library was awarded $114,572.10 for the 2025 Illinois Public Library per capita grant, which was the same amount as 2023. 2024 was a little bit higher, and the 2025 amounts will be actually a little bit under what was budgeted. We also received $1,299.33 of cash in lieu of land from the village in June. Copier printer revenue totaled $3,958.61. Meeting room fees were $175. Lost item charges totaled $974.37. June interest income was $17,918.38. Donations totaled $17.09. Compared to budget, the year-to-date amount appears low for donations. There was a question about this because the budget includes $150,000 of deferred donations from trusts that we will recognize in conjunction with expenditures made on the bookmobile project. So this way, the net income statement impact will be zero for any part of the project funded by donations. So far in 2025, we have not incurred any such expenditures, and therefore our donations are still sitting on our balance sheet in deferred revenue. Other income was $1,763.04. Although not included on this income statement report, it's worth noting that we did finally receive reimbursement from American Express for those fraudulent charges that had come up last month when we were clearing them from the statement. So that was received. The Friends of the Library reimbursed us $7,234.82. Revenue collected for vehicle stickers totaled $369. Makerspace miscellaneous revenue was $736.39. And our total revenue collected in June was $219,038.02. On the expense side, we are 50% of the way through the fiscal year, and we've expensed 51% of our total operating budget. There was a question about the server project in the capital line on our financial report. The server project appears $8,000 over budget on the capital side of the dashboard because this project was split between operating and capital in the budget for the project. The balance was slightly off. In total, the actual cost of the project was exactly as budgeted, and our information technology department expenses in the operating fund are under budget to offset the difference exactly. So it's just actually represented in the other account a little bit higher than operating. And then 9% of our total annual capital budget has been expensed as of June. I had a couple other questions I wanted to address here. Our full-time equivalent headcount. So in the financial report, it shows our personnel lines. As of June 30th is 147.04 as compared to budget of 155.55. So we have 4 full-time positions currently open, 1 in administration, 1 in finance, 1 in circulation, and 1 in info services. We anticipate that at least 2 of these will be filled this year. We're assessing the other 2. And 1 full-time role is actually actively being recruited right now, as are a few of the part-time roles. Whenever we backfill open positions, the administrative team works closely with the management team to kind of assess the personnel needs for the department, and then we may reallocate or move forward with a posting depending upon. So one of those positions that's currently open has been reallocated, and the other one is currently being looked at. So, but the other 2 will be hired. And then there was a question about, is there a gap in service from not having this position filled? No, not with these 4. Typically, if there's a gap in service, we will push that through. We'll have that manager come and talk to us right away. We'll get that position filled pretty quickly. We're very fortunate to have staff that step up and help out whenever there's a shortage of other staff in the department. So that's what's happening in these cases. Okay, that's everything I had on the financial report. Anybody have any other questions?
No. All right, how about the check register?
All right, I've got quite a few questions. So thank you all for sending me questions. And we really appreciate the timely submission of the questions because we had so much this time. It really gave us time to talk to the managers and make sure that we had good descriptions for everything. Okay, on page 2 and page 12, check 104569 to M&J Technologies Direct. The amount is $13,260. That's for email security. So email security, and this is for the email security and archival renewal. It's a service that we have. It archives all of our emails and also provides email spam resistance. The lines on page 2 represent the portion of the invoice that relates to next year and will sit on the balance sheet as a prepaid until expensed in 2026. The remaining portion on page 12 relates to 2025 and is expensed this year. So the 2 different email security lines on each page represent security protection and cloud archiving services. Okay, next one on page 2 and page 28, check 104575 to New York Times. It was $7,072 total. This is all access digital subscription renewal to the New York Times. Again, 50% of this relates to next year, as shown on page 2, and the other half on page 28 relates to 2025 and is expensed in the current year. On page 3, check 104494 to AHML. That's an American Express charge in the amount of $449. And then we have another one on page 3, check 104580 to David Olicker for $1,803.63. These are related. These are conference expenses for staff. So there was a question about the conferences, what they are, and how we allocate. The CORE Forum is an annual conference for the American Library Association's newest division, CORE, which is Leadership, Infrastructures, and Futures. It was attended by one of our services managers and brings together decision makers and practitioners that focus on topics such as access and equity, buildings and operations, metadata and collections, and technology. NDI is National Digital Inclusion Alliance and was attended by one of our digital services staff. It addresses policies impacting digital equity as well as digital inclusion, best practices, and programming, including topics such as AI, sustainability, accessibility, and serving different communities. During our budget season, various conference opportunities are assessed in terms of their estimated costs versus the benefit of attendance for the library. Typically, a few are selected to attend the conferences we find most relevant based on agenda topics, our strategic plan goals, and staff members' positions. We work with managers to spread out conference opportunities to various staff who are expected to then bring what they've learned back to their teams to apply at our library. Often, our staff will attend as presenters or panelists to receive reduced or free registration. Okay, then on page 5, check 104556 to Lindmeyer Monroe in the amount of $1,069.00. This is for the paper that we print all of our in-house literature on. This particular purchase is for cardstock, but we use the same product in text weight paper as well. We've been using it since we switched to laser printing at high volume in-house many years ago. On page 5, check 104606, signs by tomorrow in the amount of $133.11. That is for scooter signage, which Carol so nicely brought a scooter up forward to display. These are signs that are attached to the accessible scooters that tell users the guidelines for use. The ones we previously made in-house didn't hold up that well, so we had more durable versions made out of vinyl and plastic. On page 8, check 104577 to North Shore Lights LLC in the amount of $2,446.10. That is for holiday lights and decorations generously funded annually by the Friends of the Library. Each year, the vendor offers us a discount for scheduling and paying early. The outdoor lighting and poinsettias displayed throughout the library are always well received by the community. On page 12, check 104494. That is to HML, which is another American Express charge. The total on that is $412.89. That is for OtterBox cases for iPhones used by security and facility staff when they were recently replaced with updated phones, and so these are new cases for those. On page 14, check 104494, another American Express charge. That is $730.34. That is for a pump for the lawn sprinkler system. We have 2 outside sprinkler systems. One does the front and the side of the building, while the other does the back and the parking lot bushes. The pump was for the latter, and our facilities team installed the pump themselves at half the cost of what our contractor wanted to charge. On page 15 and 16, check 104535 and 104575 to IGS Energy and Nicor Gas in the amounts of $3,325.18 and $2,126.77. That is for natural gas charges for May for the main library and the Maker Place. IGS supplies the gas at a hedged rate under the terms of our 3-year contract with them, and then Nicor delivers it. So that's why we have 2 different suppliers there. On page 17, check 104619 to Williams Associates Architects, the amount of $812.25. That was for plans to restripe and seal the Maker Place parking lot. On page 28, check 104485, Amazon Capital Services in the amount of $2,486.94. That is for 6 replacement circulating iPads for Kids World. Another 6 were generously funded by the foundation. Our previous 15 Kids World iPads were over 10 years old and their operating systems were no longer supported. On page 56, check 104609 to Sugar Beet Inc. in the amount of $480. That is a reissue of a February 12th culinary program deposit. The original payment was issued December 17th, 2024 warrant, but the vendor never received the check. The library places a stop payment on the lost check and issued a replacement from this warrant. Lost checks and reissues are rare, therefore we ask vendors to wait a minimum of 3 months to see if the check turns up before we do a stop pay and reissue. If still needed, we're able to confirm in our accounting software that the original check has not been cashed before we process and we stop paying and reissue. So that is all the questions I have from the check register. If anybody else has any other questions, I think we read most of them, but.
We carefully review finances every month, so that's good. All right. They have a motion.
I move approval of the accounts payable check register for the Arlington Heights Memorial Library for June 30th, 2025, in the amount of $1,192,653.60.
So second. I will have, trustee Gala made the motion and trustee, I'm always going to mispronounce your name, McLeany, seconded. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Farrell? Yes. Trustee Bella?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Aye.
Trustee McLean?
Yes.
Trustee Meadow?
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Sewell?
Aye. Okay. All right, moving on to the executive director report.
All right, there's some good stuff to highlight this month, some fun things happening. Right on the first page, Youth Services kicked off this year's monster themed summer reading program at the Farmers Market with over 400 people enjoying a bubble-filled morning with Mr. Scott's Bubble Show. Youth Services staff were on hand to register 144 kids for the program, offering attendees special early access to registration prizes. To date, more than 3,400 kids and teens have signed up for the program, already surpassing last year's number of registrants, with the rest of July still to go. That is all here. On the next page, our info services launched a revamped summer reading program called the Minutes of Summer, where readers track the minutes they spend reading. A community reading goal of 250,000 minutes has already been exceeded. According to statistics, there were 497 new participants for the program in the month of June, which exceeds participation from past years. Participants will be invited to the adult summer reading party in September. And then right below that, the book displays. Our summer reading themed book displays debuted, including a recommended titles display in Kids World, separated by grade level, and a school required reading display outside the hub. Special thanks to collection librarian Candy and the graphics team for their hard work on these displays. And special thanks to the graphics team for designing, printing, and displaying every monster in Kids World, which has evoked many positive comments, including from a District 25 teacher who's interested in using the monsters in her classroom next year. Then at the bottom of that page, the lit stroll, registration for the library's 4th annual lit stroll filled in 18 minutes, weeks ahead of the event. The event was attended by 160 book lovers who strolled from Mago Grill and Cantina, Hey Nani, and Arlington Ale House in downtown Arlington Heights to hear authors Nancy Johnson, Sonella Dev, and Charlie Donnelly speak about their latest novels, their writing, and more. Info Services Coordinator Sherry and Programs and Exhibit Specialist Neil led the event, while advisors Lucy, Joan, and Danielle led the author talks on stage, and many other staff supported this successful event. Then on page 4, just a couple of staff highlights. Our Info Services Manager, Jolie, was asked to serve as chair for the 2025 and 2026 Illinois Library Association Intellectual Freedom Committee, which continues her work on the committee in a leadership role. Our Youth Services Manager, Trixie, was appointed to the 2026 Illinois Library Association Conference Planning Committee. And Lisa, our Maker Place Specialist and in-house costume designer extraordinaire, has been accepted to compete in San Diego's Comic-Con's prestigious masquerade competition in late July with her entry, A Tale of Two Stepsisters, Cinderella, the Prince, and the Petticoat Pandemonium. Additionally, she's organized a panel called Crafting Your Cosplay, Unlocking Creativity in Library Makerspaces, featuring 5 different local library makerspaces for Fan Expo in August. Makerspace Branch Assistant Manager Chris will moderate the panel. And on page 5, last month marked the first of 3 Sunday Musical concerts at North School Park. Programs and Exhibits Assistant Jay welcomed 106 listeners on a toasty Sunday to enjoy Brother Tim, playing hits from the 70s to 2010s, Fleetwood Mac to Foo Fighters. On page 6, the library received a certificate of recognition for the Butterfly Garden. Monarch Watch, an education, conservation, and research program based at the University of Kansas awarded the library a certificate of recognition for the creation and registration of the Butterfly Garden, recorded as Monarch Way Station number 50385. Monarch way stations provide critical resources for monarchs throughout their annual cycle of reproduction and migration and support other pollinators and wildlife. The Butterfly Garden is one of over 51,600 monarch way station habitats registered with Monarch Watch in the world. So special thanks to our staff of volunteers from Community and Circulation Services and Info Services who take care of the planting and maintenance, as well as the Friends of the Library for their support on that project. On that same page, the Native American hoop dancer, Star Chief Eagle, an enrolled member of the Scout group, Lakota Sioux tribe, performed the art of hoop dancing for 113 attendees at North School Park. Attendees learned about Native American culture and were moved by the ceremonious dance depicted the stages of Star's life. On page 7, a few new things at the Makerspace. Chef Brian introduced a new class, the Other Salads, focusing on barbecue and picnic style salads, including potato salad, pasta salad, and coleslaw. Makerspace advisor Esther led a new creative workshop in the art room on making faux stained glass using acrylic sheets and paint markers with 20 people in attendance. Makerspace advisor Kathy hosted a hands-on class on quilting with old t-shirts. Participants learned how to transform cherished shirts into quilt squares, preserving memories in a creative and fun way. Chef Brian and early learning librarian Allison welcomed 86 attendees to the Makerplace kitchen to make lemonade. Makerspace branch assistant manager Chris, Makerplace advisor Esther, and communications and marketing specialist Mary Liz collaborated on a video for social media showcasing Makerspace's new Primera LX 610 sticker printing machine, generously funded by the Friends of the Library. The video has already received over 7,700 views on Facebook and Instagram. So, that is everything I had on the director's report, but I did have a comment on the statistics. But if anybody has any questions about the director's report before I move on, I'd be happy to answer those.
No, so much on, and listening to you and what I highlighted for myself too, I'm wondering, hopefully some of our staff members will, maybe do the poster presentation or a regular presentation at the ILA conference in the fall.
Yes, I don't know if we have anybody presenting. I will be presenting at the pre-conference on artificial intelligence. I don't know if you know if anybody else presenting.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing so much great stuff. I know they get a lot of applicants, but. All right, go ahead.
Then for the statistics, I had a question about the tours for the Makerplace. So this is on page 3. If you look at program attendance, we have tours. They're not big numbers, but the question was, this has been on there for a while. Do we still want to continue tracking the tours? We do still do the tours monthly. It's actually a structured program, and it is kind of a good indicator as to new people coming in. But I'm happy to adjust this however the board would like it adjusted. But what are your thoughts?
Well,
If they help you keep them.
Okay. I mean, we'll keep them internally either way. Do you guys want to continue to see
Yeah.
them? Is it helpful?
well, I think it makes the total, lower, like a negative change. And I feel like a lot of people have gone through the tours potentially, but I understand that it's very helpful for you. And clearly people are always moving into the community or different stage of life.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you put the tours in under other and you'd still have the same figure?
True.
Yeah.
Because you want to capture program attendance and that is a program.
Yeah, that's true. No. Okay, well, I'll keep it the way it is, but if anybody
Yeah.
feels, strongly about it, once I have a
Fine.
conversation, I'll find it.
Yes.
We can do that. Okay, any other questions about director's report or stats or anything? Oh. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to old business, review and acceptance of our annual auditor statement. And I know we have an auditor here with us tonight.
Yes, so I will turn it over to Tracy to.
Yeah, introduce. So this is Lindsay Fish. Lindsay is our partner both our audit and Village of Arlington Heights audit. It's her first year in our engagement. So you might remember Martha Trotter has come to speak to you about the draft. And you've seen her, for those of you who've been on the board for a few years, but after about 5 years, we tend to just get a fresh set of eyes. But I appreciate Lindsay and our team, and Martha, because they did make the transition very, very smooth for us, and their staff are consistent throughout the years too. So, no issues on our end. It was really nice and smooth, and it's been very good working with Lindsay. So kind of the report has been issued, and she can give you a summary. Sure, yeah, all right.
Lindsay, would you like to join us at the table?
Sure. You're basic, okay, won't need it though.
Well, thank you to the members of the library board for inviting me to your meeting this evening to present to you the results of your audit for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2024. As mentioned, Martha did review the draft audit reports with the board back in early June, I believe. I was away on family vacation during that meeting, so appreciate your flexibility in allowing her to present in my place during that time. So those draft reports that Martha presented have now been finalized, and I can confirm there were no changes between those preliminary drafts that she had presented from the drafts that were finalized. So with the audit now complete, I'm pleased to report that we issued an unmodified opinion on the library's financial statements. This is the highest level of assurance we can provide as auditors, and that reflects that the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So in other words, that's like a clean opinion. So that's the type of opinion that you want to receive. Congratulations on the receipt of that unmodified opinion. In addition, in accordance with auditing standards, we also evaluated the library's internal controls over financial reporting. I'm pleased to share that we did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control. So while no internal control system can eliminate all risks of error or fraud, based on our procedures, the library's internal controls appear to be well designed and operating effectively. Before I conclude, I would just like to take a moment to recognize Tracy and the entire library team as well. Audit process went very smooth this year, as it sounds like it always does, and this is just a direct reflection of the organization, the responsiveness and professionalism of your team. Everything was provided that we needed in a timely manner, and it was really a pleasure to work with your team at the library. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here tonight, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I just had one question. I know there was a change in accounting,
Yes.
right, I don't know, if it's best practices, principles, whatever, this year that required a bit of work on both your teams. I'm wondering, do you know, like, do you get those in advance? Do we know if there's anything coming down the pipe that might
Yep.
change our?
Yeah, so we do know when those are coming. Let me refresh my memory on what's coming. So we do include the future accounting pronouncements in your board communication. So there are 3 new pronouncements coming down the line. One is a disclosure only standard that relates to risk disclosure. So if you had any risks to your operations that would, change your level of service you're able to provide, that'd be just a no disclosure. So nothing financial related there. There's one new standard related to financial reporting model improvements, which is kind of a hodgepodge of a few various different changes. So there'd be no changes to the amounts reported in your financial statements because of that new auditing standard, but there'd be a few changes as far as what I didn't like the management's discussion analysis in your budget versus actual schedule would get an additional column in there. But no new liabilities or anything like that to pick up. And then there is one other one. Just to refresh myself on what it is. The last one relates to disclose certain capital assets. I wouldn't expect that would have an impact to the library. That one really comes into play if you have a capital asset that you're like holding for resale or something of that nature. So as of right now, those are the 3 that are out there that are coming down the line. So nothing that would have, I would say, too significant of an impact on your financial statements.
Good. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. And, from our, of us, I don't think are accountants, but, you make it easy to understand. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So I would, accept a motion we make a motion to accept the audit. Yes, okay. I would like a motion to accept the audit as presented, for the financial report in the year ending December 31st, 2024.
So
So moved. So that was trustee Burrell and a second from trustee Gala. May we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Burrell? Yes. Trustee Bella?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Aye.
Trustee McLean?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Smart?
Aye. All right, thank you so
Thank you.
much. All right, moving on to new business, we all received a memo regarding awarding the contract for the purchase of our new bookmobile.
All right, yes, so this is an exciting one for us, one that we've been working on for quite some time, and bring to you tonight the proposal to move forward with a contract to purchase a new bookmobile. We have engaged with, or have been engaged with, a consultant from Library Specialty Vehicles, who helped us with this process. Throughout the process, we have worked with staff to identify the type of bookmobile we want to go out to bid for. We talked about different specifications, options, features that we'd like to include. When we had a specification packet built by our consultants, we then of course reviewed it, tweaked it, sent it out. So what we ended up sending out was pretty close to what we had decided that we wanted to see on the bookmobile. We then received 5 bids. We had 10 packets that were sent out to manufacturers. We received 5 bids. The bids ranged from $469,999 to $657,100. And it's a pretty big range for a bus that's very similar. If you look at all the different vendors, but there are things that are materially different with each one. Based on the recommendation of our consultant, we looked at a number of different things. It was cost, it was the mechanical build of the bus. It was also the company that we'd be working with and ensuring that we would get it on time and on budget. He has experience with all of the vendors that submitted proposals, and his recommendation was to move forward with Tech Ops. We did talk through all of the different proposals and I feel very confident in his recommendation based on all the things we discussed. Not only is it a very good company to work with, they're probably one of the top right now in bookmobile manufacturers, but it's also gets us pretty much everything that we're looking for in our discussions as a team. There are a couple of things that for discussion here this evening that we wanted to discuss. Probably the biggest thing is the model year. Right now, they have a 2024 model year chassis available. There's one, and if it's still available, when we sign the contract, we could have access to that if we want. If we don't, then we would move up to a 2026 model year chassis, which would be an addition of $4,556.25. There's a couple, there's pros and cons. If we went with the 2024, we get it a little bit cheaper and a little bit faster. They're estimating Q1 or Q2 of 2026 for delivery. So as we've been kind of going through this process, we've been talking about delivery times for the build out and everything. And we were estimating like 2 years. So to see this is great that it would be here that quickly. If we go with the 2026, based on the consultant's estimation, it'd be at about 2 months delivery time for that. The benefit of going with the 2026, while there may be some tweaks, there's nothing significantly different between the 2024 and 2026 model as far as specifications go and features, but the 2024 has been sitting somewhere for 1.5 years. And so you make, it's been sitting a lot or, in the building, which may not be a big deal at all. The warranty is just the same, when we get it. So that's one thing to consider. A couple other things that we really wanted to include in the bookmobile is an electric awning for the side. So similar to a large motorhome would have. Right now, we bring a pop-up tent with us to go to outreach events and like the farmers market and stuff like that. Having something built in to the side that would be easily deployed and not take 2 people to set up and take down would be really helpful and a nice addition. The rear passenger seat is something that we really feel is kind of more kind of more of a requirement. Oftentimes, when we're doing outreach events, we have more than just the driver and the assistant. We have somebody else coming with to help promote something or do something. So we do feel having a third seat in the back will be very beneficial. And then the generator upgrade, that would upgrade the generator that was included in the specification from an 8 kW to a 12 kW. One of the reasons we're doing that is just the 8 kW we felt is a little bit too tight to the demands of the bookmobile. So we have 3 AC units on there, and those are gonna pull about 6 kW. So we're getting close there because you're also charging the batteries and you have the lights on and other things that are going. So we feel like that would be a worthwhile investment. And then as far as the contingency goes, we put $15,000 in there to just cover anything that when we're working with them. Once we sign this contract, we're gonna work with them on really fine tuning the surfaces that we are getting, the flooring, all that kind of stuff. We don't anticipate needing a lot of this money, but there may be things that we, that wasn't included in that specification that we aren't aware of at this point, and they're not aware of. Once we really start talking about the details of it, it'd be nice if we had another set of speakers here or some more lighting here. That would just help cover some of those things. So, and we would estimate, or we would add that contingency no matter which manufacturer we went with. We did consider the Matthews 37 foot. This is the most expensive one. The Matthews system is a little bit larger. They don't do a 33-foot chassis. Their next size up would be a 37-footer. We felt this would be nice to have an extra 3 or 4 feet on the bookmobile, but we didn't think it was worth the money. It would be a little bit tighter in the garage. It would be a little bit tougher to maneuver. But it would get us like basically one more row or one more column of shelving on either side of the bus. And we felt like we didn't think that we could
And also
justify
have
that.
2 years lead time on it too.
Right, exactly. That's another, downfall. So what questions do you guys have? I do have a series of questions that were emailed beforehand,
I
but
did not.
go ahead and kick it off.
No, actually, I was thinking this, but then you also mentioned the warranty. Is it, if I might have missed it in here, is it across the board the same, or are there any differences?
It is mostly the same, because the Winnebago ones are pretty much all the same, and then you have like the drivetrain is pretty much the same because they're coming from the same manufacturer through Winnebago. The generator one is a little bit different. You could buy up warranties, but we wouldn't do that. It's like, I think it was like $20,000 a year or something for an additional warranty. So we would just take the factory warranty from Winnebago and all the other.
And then
pieces
with
to it.
the different variances, if that's included, like the awning, is that a separate warranty, or the different, like we go with different lights, so it's okay?
Yeah, so each thing that's in here, like the generator would carry its own warranty,
Okay.
the awning would have its own warranty, and they're all different. Some are 5 years, some are 10 years, some are
Okay.
1 year, so it all
I
depends
know,
on which.
it gets really nuanced. Is that something then you can consider, like when looking at all the different options?
Yeah, we talked about it, but we felt that the warranties were, there wasn't anything that really stood out that it was, like wildly different from unit to unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the biggest differences with like Tesco and truck builders, felt like there were a lot of things that were just not included, that they included like the electric awning, but the rear seat and external monitor, really, they weren't specified in the bid at all. They just said, yep, we'll do everything, which gave our consultants, and he's worked with them numerous times, kind of like a red flag, like, okay, they may not have looked through this whole thing, or there's gonna be charges after the fact that is just gonna build up. So he recommended kind of steering clear of that one. Tesco, felt like that one, there was just a lot left off, that there's a lot of things that they couldn't do, same with Farber. So it's, he felt very, very strong about moving forward with Tech Ops. He thinks that they're an excellent company. He's worked on a number of vehicles with them. They're located close to Washington, DC, and they do a lot of government contract work. And so they have a very systematic approach to things. They hit their deadlines, they hit their costs, and I think we'll be real happy with them.
Do you know, or does he know if the 2024 chassis or remodel, like, have they had any challenges with those, or have they been pretty,
Pretty solid. Yeah, they've been pretty solid from what he's seen.
Yeah.
It's a newer chassis.
Right.
Because, I mean, even the design
Yeah.
altogether is newer, just came out, I think, in 2024. So he's not, there's really not been enough probably,
Yeah.
experience yet. But he seemed to think that there wouldn't be a significant difference between the two as far as, anything that we really need to concern ourselves with. He just felt like the 2026 is fresh off the line.
right?
The
I mean,
2024
did they
is-
prove things that were, perhaps not what they wanted, or is
He
it?
was not able to tell me right off the bat, like, if there was anything significant that they
Right.
had changed. I can go back with them and, if you guys wanted to approve a not to exceed that amount, if we feel that it's, good to go with 2024, and there's been no changes,
Curious if there was a
We-
reason that they
yeah.
did it, and then also, if I'm not mistaken, the 33-inch Winnebago, that means it can be repaired at a lot more places
Yes.
than if we did a custom 37.
Yeah, and that was one of the big things that we talked about with the Winnebago versus the custom build. Winnebago is, you can go to any Camping World and have it serviced. It's the fit and finish and everything that's included with that. It's like buying like a vehicle off a lot. The interiors are, it's made like a Winnebago, and so they're mass production as opposed to a custom vehicle, which it's kind of pieced together, and you're gonna have little nuanced issues, as you, go 15, 20 years down the road. We've been very lucky with ours. Ours is a Matthews bus built by, or I'm sorry, I think it's a Thomas bus built by Matthews. Which is what we have. So that was an existing bus that they had converted. Was not a full custom like what they're currently offering. Like Farber and Matthews, they built their own shell now. So that's another reason we were leaning toward the Winnebago. We just think it's a much better starting point. The other thing is with like Matthews, if there were an issue with it, like a major issue with it, that we couldn't have serviced here at our local places, it would then have to go back to North Carolina or wherever they are to be serviced. And so we don't want that kind of damage. Fortunately, we've not had that kind of thing happen with our bus. And the chassis, the engine, the drivetrain, even the Matthews is still a good, it's a Freightliner equipment. But the Winnebago is much more serviceable, and much more recognizable for mechanics. I'm gonna go through a couple of questions that I received. So there was a question about negotiations once we received the bids, like, did we go back and negotiate with them down? This is a public process, so we went out to bid with the specific specs, we get that back, and then this is their price, so this is kind of what we have to work with. If we were gonna negotiate with anybody, we would have to then go back and negotiate at the same point with everybody. So there's not much negotiation, but at the same time, they're supposed to be bringing their best deal forward in a bid. There was a question about how many vendors we had. We had 10 that received the packet. Some were solicited, some were unsolicited. Our consultant just kind of blasted it out to the 10 manufacturers that he would recommend. We received 5 back. The awning and a monitor were 2 elements that our advisory committee felt that would be really helpful in outreach events. There was a question as to, do we need that monitor? In the awning, we do a lot of things like National Night Out, the farmers market. We do what do you call it, block parties and stuff like that, where we're out there with the bus, even schools and stuff like that. We can use that TV. The TV is exterior mounted, but it's embedded in the side of the bus. So there's a sealed cover that goes over it. So we open it up when we're at a location and then pull out the awning, so we've got a shade there. We could use it for promotion, we could use it for gaming, engagement. There's a lot of different things we can do. The Bookmobile is a great interactive tool. It's also a promotional vehicle that, we can use and promote different things. So we feel that is definitely worthwhile element. Let's see. Yeah, the awning is big, as I mentioned. We carry a 10 by 10 tent and set it up everywhere we go. We may still bring it for larger events, but now we can just pop out that awning and it'll be much easier. I think we touched on everything else. Oh, the funding. I wanted to talk a little bit about the funding. So we have, right now, we have $100,000 in capital that is officially budgeted for this. We also have 250, I'm sorry, we have 150,000 in donations officially budgeted for this. So for this year, we have $250,000 total budgeted for the bookmobile. That will go toward the down payment. Our foundation is also committed $150,000 to this. And we have our friends that have committed to doing this as well. So we will be getting money from them. We also have another estate donation, which I don't know. I don't have the firm amount on yet, so I don't want to say anything about that, but there is some additional donation money that will be going for this. So as of right now, we have a definite $350,000 toward the bookmobile of that 612,000. That's not including the friends, and that's not including other exterior donations. So those are all the questions I had. And anybody else? Yeah.
So Mike, just going back to what you just mentioned, so the 100,000 capital and the 150 donations, is that the foundation, or is that?
No.
The foundation is in addition?
The foundation's actually in addition to.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Yeah, so the 150 is just accounted in our donation line in the budget.
Okay.
And actually we have, I want to say over 200,000 now, right?
Yeah.
In donations that are dedicated to this. So if we figure that plus the 100,000 capital, plus the 150 that the foundation has, that's pretty much what we have to work with this year.
Okay, got it, thank you. Then I have two other questions. Is the pricing guaranteed for kind of like I'll say like the basics, like, not upgrades or anything like that? I'm concerned with like all this tariff news.
Yes, right.
That, we're gonna order this and then like the cost is gonna just like balloon, so.
I believe tariffs were accounted for when they wrote this. They said the pricing is good for 30 days. If there's anything additional, like if they came back and said there's gonna be a 10% increase, I would of course come back to the board and say, okay, this is the contract amount that we have with them. There's an additional for the tariff, and then I would think we would be able to make that decision where we could back out of the contract and go somewhere else if we wanted to.
Okay. And then last question is, do we have like any kind of estimate for what we can get for the current bookmobile?
I'm guessing just based on conversations with our consultant and, used bookmobiles that I've seen online, I'm guessing between like $30,000 and $50,000. Yeah. So, and we would sell it after, once we get the new one.
Okay. I'm hoping it would be more, but.
Yeah, who knows, maybe, I just want to give
How many miles is that on it?
I say like 70,000.
Hmm.
It's not a lot, but it's 16 years old, and it's just, of course, local, around driving. The timing I wanted to mention also, so if we went forward with Tech Ops, that they're estimating delivery, let's say Q2 of 2026. As I mentioned before, we are doing a rebrand for the library. And so this would probably mesh very well with when we want to introduce that new brand. And the new brand is really, the reason we're doing that now is because it's $12,000 to wrap the bookmobile. We want to put a brand on there that's fresh, that's new, and we're going to have for a while. So, so that's kind of driving that. Pardon the pun, but it's kind of driving the brand. And so this timing actually works pretty well with being able to update that brand as far as, we can.
Is that $12,000 included in this price?
There's an allowance in there for it, yeah.
Any other questions? Well, it seems to me that you have really, between the consultant and your team, and the bookmobile staff have really asked just about every question that you can. We're really in a fortunate position in that we have enough budgeted money this year that we could put the down payment. It seems that our friends and foundation are working really hard, and I think they'll be very successful in raising additional funds. And it sounds like we may receive a bequest that we could use toward this as well.
Right. Yep.
So, Yeah.
I think the foundation was already, so the foundation's already at 106,
Mhm.
so they're at 2/3 their goal, so they're tracking towards being able to. Like, we think that money's gonna be accessible at the end of this year, so like, probably not used for the down payment, used for the
We'll
final.
probably use some of it for the down payment. Because they already have 106, I think, we might come up short on what we currently have budgeted.
Yeah.
So they would fill in.
And then the Friends is using August book sale, which is like the beginning of August. Towards things, so they're part of their commitment might be also accessible by the end of the year, is the thought.
Yeah, and they have money in the bank too, so if they make a commitment that, like if they give us a hard number and what they want to commit, part of that would probably, I'm guessing they would take that out of their current funds.
Yep.
And then just continue to build that up through their book sales
Makes
to
sense.
replace it.
Well, and if you come up short, you can always budget for it for next year too. Cause
Right.
there's probably, this isn't gonna come until,
Right, well, that's true,
This-
yeah,
maybe not until next June, so.
Right.
There, you can, you'll know, of course, by then, you can always budget.
yeah, so we would just be paying that down payment this year and then maybe,
We have some capital money in it for next year, don't we?
we will be putting that
Yeah.
in.
It was included in like the long.
In the long range
that you
plan,
had,
yeah.
Yeah. the budget.
Like, what is receipt of chassis? What do you guys think?
That's the point that I was gonna say, we may be having to pay that this year also, in which case we probably would lean on the foundation as well. So that's when we purchase the chassis from Winnebago, and when Winnebago delivers that to the company, Tech Ops. So once they receive that, then we would pay that next, I think it's 25%.
Yeah, so
So there still could be 25% in next year's budget,
Yes,
the 15 and 10, if necessary, yeah.
yeah, that could hit this year, or that could hit next year.
And
I would imagine it would be this year.
yeah, so like if it's gonna be a 2024 model, like that 75%, because it's the 50 and the 25 would be this year. If it's 2026 model, because the one is gone by the time, then it would be 50/50, right?
Yeah,
Ish.
pretty close, yeah.
It says 15 is within 30 days of completion.
Right.
Well, that's, at
Next
the
year.
earliest, that's next year, yeah, and then 10% prior to delivering.
So we're likely to spend 75% of our costs this year.
Yes, if they receive the chassis this year, which I would imagine they probably would, definitely if they get the 2020, if we go with the 2024.
Right.
If we do the 2026, very likely, let's say, that they would receive that this year.
Okay, well, it sounds like maybe we could make a vote on this. I'm unsure about the chassis though. How would you like us to deal with that? Would you like us to,
As far as the 2024.
versus 2026?
I would ask you to give us that amount not to exceed 612,000. That would include that 2026 chassis, and then when we go back, I'm gonna talk a little bit more with the consultants and see if there's any like changes or corrections in twenty
Right,
twenty-six.
like, is it a
that they
big
address.
overhaul, when they
Right.
redesign a car or something?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little thing, sometimes it's something big.
And we'll talk to the vendor also and ask them, is there any corrosion or any rust or anything that from its sitting that would be a negative that we would have to consider. If that's not the case, then we'll move forward to 2024, then we'll be under by $4,500.
Okay.
That work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I move that the Board of Library Trustees awards the contract for the purchase of a new library bookmobile to Tech Ops in an amount not to exceed $612,675. I mean, yes, pending review of the contract for the library's attorney.
Second,
All right, so that was proposed by trustee Gallant and seconded by trustee Mel. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Baretta? Yes. Trustee Gallo?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Aye.
Trustee McLean?
Yes.
Trustee Meadow?
yes.
Trustee Watts?
Yes.
President Smith?
Aye. All right, well, that's exciting. That is really an exciting endeavor for our community. Okay. Before we go into closed session, do you have any other?
Yes, I wanted to let you guys know that the story walk at Rec Park is in place. I don't know if you have had the opportunity to see it yet. We did have, in the first go round, we did find that some of those panels were leaking and When we put the storybook pages in there, they had to trim them down a little bit, and so the lamination that we put in there was a little bit exposed to paper, and it, of course, whipped water into the thing. So we have replaced them. I just want to let you guys know, in case you get questions or comments from the community, we are watching them actively, and we're trying different things too. One of the other issues that we had with it was the ink in the paper, the UV was just fading it pretty quickly. And so on two of them, we put UV protectant glass on there. So we're trying different things. If that works, then we'll do it on all of them. But wanted to let you know that those have been refreshed, and we do have additional copies of the book if we need to refresh it again. But we're trying things. We're trying to make sure it looks perfect. But I think it's a great addition over there. The Park District has been a wonderful partner with it, and I think they look very good. So, yeah.
A quick question that I have gotten a couple of questions about how often you're planning to like refresh the
Yeah,
story.
it's
Like,
3 times a year.
okay,
Yeah.
so close to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all gonna be train themed and stuff. That's kind of their theme over at that park. We're gonna try and make it as train themed as possible. The first one we did was the number 100 themed because it was our 100th anniversary. But going forward, it'll be train themed to match what they've got going on over there. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a good question. Actually, just with Frontier Days, them that being the first time,
Yeah.
I guess, A, any feedback, or B, was there any damage, anything?
No damage that I've heard,
Okay.
and I haven't heard any feedback either. I mean, I haven't heard any feedback from Frontier Days specifically, but I have heard positive feedback about the storybook and how great it is that we're partnering and how wonderful they look and everything. So,
Good.
yeah. Um,
We had a staff,
Yes, I wanted to deliver some very sad news. One of our longtime staff members, John Fryer, passed away in June. John was battling some health issues and was beloved by staff and customers. He was really a character, not only in the library, but in our community. And we're sad that John has passed. I just wanted to let you guys know there will be a memorial service that the library staff are putting together on August 10th at Eddie's down right over here on Northwest Highway. From 6 to 9 p.m. on August 10th. So
and he was instrumental in bringing books and brews to Eddie's.
he was, yes, he
correct?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. John will certainly be missed. He was, like I said, he was a character here and in Cleveland.
I heard wonderful things about the parade. I was out of town, but saw a lot of great social media and saw, all the balloons and the giveaways.
Yes, our communications marketing team did a phenomenal job again preparing us for the parade. We had about 100 people walking with us.
The most community participation to date.
Oh, wow.
So we all excited and it was very having fun.
And we opened it up to the community so they could join us, and we did another beautiful balloon display, a patriotic theme, which was wonderful. It was great, and maybe the last time that bookmobile participates in the 4th of July parade. We'll see how the timeline works out, but who knows?
All right.
Quick
I-
question. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did we win?
What's confusing is the website does say 2025 winners, but it's the same first place and same second place as last year. So I don't know yet. Last year I got a letter in the mail, but as it stands, it says second place again. And if you watch the parade, there was like, I don't know if they're called Prospect Heights Nature Club or something like that. They had like the costumes with like the flowers, so they won first place last year, and according to what it says, but we'll see officially. They announced it at Frontier Days Friday evening, but I never heard anything, nothing ever came back to me of anyone that was at the concert that night or anything that said, who the official winners were, but whether or not we won, we're very, very proud.
That's funny. I noticed in the magazine that we all received in our packets that LA is in Rosemont this year. And for our newer trustees, if you have a chance, it's October 14th through 16th. And there is one day that's sort of designated trustee day. Since it's so close, if we can sneak over there for part of the day or all of the day, it's really worthwhile, I would say. No, and apparently Mike is presenting, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, we'll be presenting, they're doing a pre-conference day, and it's gonna be based on like data analysis and stuff like that. And so I will be presenting with a group on survey data and like analyzing it with artificial intelligence. So, yeah, we will go. So, if you guys are interested in attending ILA, you can let us know and we'll help you, get registered. I don't know if that's one you have to do on your, is it on their own account?
Yes.
But if you need help with any of it, please let us know. We're happy to help you through it.
All right. All right, seeing that there is no other, I would like to move to closed session in accordance with 5 IL CS 120/2C1. To review executive director's performance goals and also for the purpose of reviewing closed session minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, this, you just want to.
Okay, Rebecca.
Yeah.
All right. Since we have come out of closed session and we move back to opening session. I would like a motion to adjourn our meeting, our regular board meeting for this Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025. We did this. Oh, you're just talking about closed? We did in closed, we have to do it in open again?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to, destroy the tapes and release the written transcript from 3 closed session meetings. 11/6/2023, 11/21/2023, and 12/19/2023. Second? Oh, you seconded, all in favor? So that was an open session, and now I make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Oh, okay. We need to approve the minutes.
Yes, so. I don't have it written down yet, but.
No.
Here the,
Yeah, you just put review, mid-year review of executive director of schools.
and we don't have to put the close, or the review of the.
No,
okay,
no, just,
That doesn't go.
just a sentence, that's enough, yeah.
So we want to make a motion to approve the minutes as written to review the executive director's goals. May I have a second?
A second, so moved, to someone,
So
someone did, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Alright,
And now,
I move that we adjourn, this meeting on Tuesday, July 15th.
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.